when I walk along the corridor, if we're going out, it says, "Oh God, we're gonna get stopped a few times wearing that," because people do. You know, I go to London, up and down to London, and I get stopped all the time, and I think it's colour because I'm always wearing. Got a really nice pair of colourful Gucci Adidas collab ones. He said, "You're looking a bit frumpy."
Welcome to Off the Hanger, the fashion podcast where we delve deep into our guests' wardrobes, finding out their favourite fashion pieces and the stories behind them. This week is an absolute treat for you, but also very much for me. Morag Atkinson is one of my absolute favourite people on Instagram. She's got almost 1 million followers, and her daily outfit posts of her dancing around the kitchen, pulling things out of her handbag to wear, are just an absolute joy. I really hope you enjoy this episode. Morag, good morning. Thank you so much for being on Off the Hanger. I am beyond excited. I've been looking forward to this episode for so long. It is a pleasure to have you.
Well, I just say thank you very much for having me, little old me. I'm just like blown away that I've been asked. So there you go.
I was already saying, just before we started, how much I adore your Instagram feed. And I think one of the things I was trying to figure out is why it brings me so much joy. Why is it that I love it so much? And I think part of it is because your style isn't something that you can really instantly put your finger on. Every day is always different with you. And I think that's what I really love. It's not an overly kind of curated aesthetic of everything's beige. Every day is always really different. So I'm always dead excited to see what it is that you're going to post each day.
Oh, well, that's nice, because I think that's what I'm about as well, if you know what I mean. And I think, well, I do get asked by a lot of brands to say, "You've got to do this." And I always say, well, that's not going to happen. And they come round to the fact that it is me that's the curator, you know, and it's my style. I'm not putting out there what people possibly. I'm not formatted, if you know what I mean. I've got my own style. I do love. I've got an eclectic style. So whilst I love on trend things, I'm very much, you know, I buy things that I know nobody else will buy to style. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's a nice compliment. I'm pleased with.
But
that.
I think it really shows authenticity. I think so many people are kind of striving for this idea of authenticity and what can they do to make themselves be authentic. But actually, it is just about being yourself and going, well, now this might be ridiculous to everybody else, but I love it, so I'm going to wear it anyway.
Yeah, and I also think Instagram's a good robber of your style when you become an influencer, if you know what I mean. And because I think people start to think that that's what they should be doing to make money, because a lot of influencers, that's their, you know, they want to make money, and to make money you've got to sell things, and sometimes you lose yourself in all that, if you know what I mean. And I do pride myself in trying to keep my own style throughout it all. So, and you see it often, you know, I see it all the time. But yeah, there is very few influencers now. I mean, there is still, don't get me wrong, there is still a lot of influencers that have retained their own style. But there's a lot lost their way as well. So.
And did you always love fashion? Did you love fashion as a child?
Oh yes. I always wanted to be just a bit different. I loved fashion, but I had a mother that she was very open when I became a teenager, but you know, later in my teens, she wasn't, she didn't stop me doing things, but there was a lot of things I was never allowed, if you know what I mean, until a certain age. And I mean, I remember my first pair of what we call granny shoes, in other words, shoes with a heel. And I can remember them, brown lace up things, and I bought the highest heel that I could find because I wasn't allowed to wear heels. So yeah, I've always had, and I didn't follow a career of style at all. You know, I was a manager I was an occupational therapist, then laterally went into management. But I was always told that I had nice clothes on and always complimented. So I never really knew I had style until later on, really. So, but yeah, I've always been interested in
Is there a
clothes.
particular piece from your childhood that you can remember?
Um, well, definitely, I can always remember, and I think the brand was called Romica. Now I do, I must look them up. You must still be able to get Romicas, uber comfy. But my mother would only allow me. This was the trendiest thing I could have was Romica, but they didn't do any colour. So I, and this that you're going to laugh at this. I went into the garage, my father's garage, and took out yellow paint, emulsion paint, and I painted these very. They were almost they were just like a white trainer, very plain, no stitching, just all plain. So I painted them yellow, and they cracked a bit at the. So I got what I did when they cracked was I went into my brother's room and got Airfix, the little pots of Airfix glue, paint, and used to paint in the cracks. And I think I did yellow first, and then I went to red.
I love that. See, early customization of clothes. What a trendsetter you were. What's
Yeah.
the oldest thing you've got in your wardrobe? Do you tend to hang on to things?
Yeah, I've got certain things that I've had for a long, long time. Predominantly things actually that I've bought pre-loved because I was very much into pre-loved in my 40s. And getting back to that now, I think the oldest thing actually I don't have, because I've actually just lent it to a friend for a fancy dress, believe it or not. But it was Peruno from Marks when they first launched. They did a custom knit. Now, there's a bit of a story behind the cut. It's called a custom knit. I once met, well, I'm very friendly with her, the PR girl who launched that custom knit. And I still big buttons. Got loved it. But I've lent it to her. But so I found something else that's equally old, and that is this gorgeous little cropped black leather. Butter soft. It's by Patago. I don't even know the brand actually. I think it was quite expensive actually when I bought it pre-loved all those years ago. So goodness knows how old that is. So yeah, that's probably my oldest thing in my
You can
wardrobe.
instantly see the quality of that leather though when you pick it up. The leather
Oh,
on that
it
is
is.
amazing.
It's apt and it's cropped and it's slightly short on it, and it just goes over on evenings, or if you just need that extra layer, and it's lined and it just oozes. I get quite enthusiastic about clothes and fabrics, but it just oozes niceness.
Quality, it just feels great when you wear it. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah,
Now, I'm
yeah.
guessing this one's going to be a really tricky one for you, but what is the piece in
Mhm.
your wardrobe that gets the most compliments?
Well, and yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a standard joke in our house because my husband's called Angus, and when I walk along the corridor, if we're going out, he says, "Oh God, we're gonna get stopped a few times. You wearing that?" Because people do, I go to London, up and down to London, and I get stopped all the time, and I think it's colour because I'm always wearing something colourful. I'm very very, very rarely in the neutral base. But I do like wearing all neutrals. But I think the brand that always gets me stopped is Haley Menzies. It's a
Yeah,
very favourite brand of mine. Prints like this, but that actually features in something else in this podcast. So the next thing I'm going to tell you about, the other thing that always gets stopped at is this jacket. Tartan, of course, and it was handmade for me. Absolutely love it. Bearco, very sustainable brand, but it is absolutely gorgeous on. And it goes with other colours as well as just putting over plain black. I love it.
it's an
Absolutely love it.
incredible
So
piece.
yeah.
I love the tartan of it. And like you say, that colour just works whether you're going with the same kind of colour palette, whether you go for the contrast, the gold buttons. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is the detail. It's beautiful. Yes. So there you go.
What's the most expensive thing in your wardrobe? You can share if you want to share how much you want. You don't have to.
Yeah. Well, I do love a
Oh, good.
handbag. But I do pride myself in loving handbags from £10 right up to.
Yep.
So we'll leave the handbags to one side because I you know I do like a handbag. Clothes wise, I don't. I mean, I've got quite a lot of very expensive things in my wardrobe, but I've bought
Yes.
pre-loved. And I've got a few pairs of Chanel shoes, but I think the most expensive thing, I was looking at it all, that I have actually purchased is a Loewe denim jacket.
Nice.
So it's really nice. I actually only bought that this year, and need to wear it a little bit more. Um, but it is really special when you actually wear it. So yeah, that's probably my most expensive that I've paid full buck for.
It's such a great brand, though, Loewe. They just seem to have this real
Yeah.
resurgence of beautiful designs. But a piece like that's really timeless. It's not going to date.
Mm.
You're going to have it for years and just keep wearing it and wearing it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And have you tried going a little bit away from fashion? Have you tried their hand soap? Oh my goodness, I am absolutely addicted to
Ooh, I
Loewe
have
hand
not,
soap.
but maybe I should
Comes in
ask my
an absolute beautiful bottle. And yeah, you don't touch it.
It's for your use only. It's definitely not put in the family bathroom where everyone else will be slathering it
Well,
on.
I've just had my ensuite done, and my son was home at the weekend, and I was showing him the ensuite, and he came along with his wife, and he says, "I suppose that soap is not for our use." He knows me too well, you see.
I love that he knew it instantly. He was like, that looks fancy, therefore that is not for me to use. You've trained him well. You've got him very well trained.
Yeah, that's true.
What's the newest addition to your wardrobe?
All right, well, that only came
Oh,
yesterday.
good. Very new then.
So I have bought myself a new Haley Menzies cardigan.
So good.
They're full length. Um, I do have a few over the years, but you can put them on with patterns. You can it's kind of like, if I don't know what to wear, I'll just put anything on and put one of
Yeah.
these on, and it elevates, because I'm a very it puts me in the mood with clothes, if you know what I mean. I dress to, if I'm feeling a bit low, I thought, right, I'm going to go and put something on that's going to be really wow factor. And and they're cozy, and they've got two deep pockets that your phone doesn't fall out
They're
of.
just so great.
So
The
yeah,
quality of them is great, but I really resonate with what you say. It's something that I've said on the podcast multiple times. If I'm having a bad day, I just go changed,
yeah,
because I'm like, my outfit
oh,
can make me feel so different, and so
absolutely.
putting something
Do
on
you
that
know?
makes you feel better.
Yeah, there's a influencer, Style Up Abby, I think she's called. She is a great advocate for um trying to get you out your gym wear, she calls it, and change. Because it's very easy to just put leggings and a t-shirt on and stay in that all
Yeah,
day. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I was a big culprit of that when I had kids. At home, when I was bringing up my kids, the school run, I just put that, and then I just stay in it all day. So yeah, she's really good. I really like watching her, because she's a really good advocate for lifting people's mood with
and I think a
clothes.
lot of people don't realize actually the impact that it has on you. That when if you
Yeah,
do stay in those outfits all day, yes, I think there's days where that's completely fine because you've been to the gym or you're running around with the kids or whatever. But actually,
yeah,
just getting changed and putting on something that feels different, even if it
yeah,
is just throwing on a Hayley Menzies cardigan over your leggings and t-shirt,
absolutely.
it's just going to
Yeah,
change how you feel about yourself. When you catch a
yeah,
glimpse of your reflection, when you look down at your outfit, it has this whole different meaning.
yeah, yeah. That's so true, so true.
What's the most sentimental piece in your wardrobe?
Um, Now, probably what I always look at is I've got this. I had this commission this year actually because I tragically lost my own mother, who was my style icon, about 25 years ago, very tragically on Christmas Day. But I miss her terribly, because we used to do shopping together, or we were really into antique jewellery. And I was looking in my jewellery box not so long ago, last year sometime, and there was loads of pieces that I've never worn for a long time. And I thought, it's a shame just this city, because I know what kids will do. They'll just, take when I go with it, they'll grab the handbags and lock, stock, and barrel it'll go, because they'll not know the value of things. So I had a goldsmith. I commissioned her to a silversmith to make this ring. So this ring is all, it's rings, earrings, and she melted down the gold. So everything is my mother and me in
Oh
that
my
ring.
gosh, that is an
So
incredibly beautiful piece.
it oh, it's anywhere. I was at an event for jewellery not so long ago, and actually the owner of a huge brand asked me about this ring. So it is well admired as well. So and every time I look at it, it's very
She's
sentimental.
always with you. I love that. And I think what a great idea. I think we're so used to this idea of upcycling our clothes or customizing our clothes,
Yeah,
but we don't do it with jewelry. But jewelry does tend to be one
yeah,
of those pieces that you get passed down from people, you inherit, but then you
yeah.
never actually wear.
Where it sits in a jewellery box, and yeah, there is certain pieces I do wear, but this and there was one earring that you didn't have a match in, and I just thought, and the ring didn't fit me. So, but it was lovely that even the nuggets of gold on it she's melted everything down. So, yeah, it was. I was thrilled with it when it eventually got
I bet
made.
you were. And also, I love that it's still very you. It looks very you. It's
Yeah,
very unique. It's
yeah.
quite bold. It's got colours in there. It's great.
Well, actually, I copied the design from, I love Etsy. I love looking on Etsy to get something a little bit different, because I quite like a big chunky ring. And I've got a very, very, I mean, I think well, it's probably older than the coat I showed the shoulder. But I can always remember buying it from Etsy for about 99 pence, or, £2 or something like that. The postage was more than the thing. And it was very like that, but it didn't quite fit me. So that's why I've still got it, the cheaper version, but I did copy the design. So I shouldn't really say I designed it myself, should
Well, it's
I?
sort of a design yourself because it's all the stones and pieces are unique to you.
Yeah.
Again, I think this is going to be another tricky one for you because I don't know that there is going to be one piece in your wardrobe that sums you up.
Oh, I know that. Oh, yes, I could go along and say, oh, yes. I think. Well, I'm very. I'll give you a piece that I've had
Mhm.
recently, because there's loads of things in my wardrobe that I can pull out and I think, oh my goodness, I remember when I wore that last time and I loved it. And it's very about, with me with clothes as well. It's about the situation you're in as well, which makes it even better and everything. But this came from this. I did some work with Domino Style. She's a shop, but this is a Villa Gallio. I can never pronounce it. Villa Gallio suit. So it's crop trousers and a jacket. I've seen it on my grid so many times. I love wearing it as separates. And already I've had a lot of wear out of it. But I recently wore it to a wedding with oh, I've got the shoes in front of me actually, with these
Nice.
shoes, very punky shoes. And I didn't wear anything under the jacket and just had a little Chanel brooch on, something like that. I know my so I think I went down a storm. But actually that would look
It
lovely with
would.
the
Corsage would
this
be incredible
corsage
on
on,
there.
that would look lovely.
It's a great
But
piece.
that, I think, if you take all the colour in it, that sums me
It
up.
is. I think you're right there. It's
Yeah.
colour, it's personality, it's
Yeah.
vibrant, it's got that lovely silhouette and tailoring to it. It's like
Yeah.
the epitome of you. It's perfect.
I've got a few. I've got them in a few colours now, but I've got a few frill blouses. I've got a white one and I just love a big frill as well. Hence, I love this.
Yeah, I think I'm all for, those kind of statement pieces that when you put them on, they feel great, but also it makes you memorable. How many people from that wedding had you never met before, but then now will always remember you? Oh, do you remember that lady at the wedding who wore that incredible suit? It's
or I get well, particularly at that wedding, they would approach me and go to me, "Are you the lady?" And I went, "Yes, that throws her clothes around the kitchen." Yeah. A lot of people approach you and go, "Are you the lady?" I had somebody in Covent Garden when I was with my husband last week, and she approached me and she went, "Are you?" Yeah. I said, "Yes."
I'm the one that dances around my kitchen on your Instagram feed every morning. There you go, with my magic handbag that pulls out all of the things.
Real side things.
Now, I genuinely believe that these things happen to all of us. They seem to happen to me more than most other people, I feel. But do you ever have a fashion faux pas or a wardrobe malfunction happen to you? Oh, good.
Yes.
I'm glad it's not just me.
You know, do you know what? I now use reels to my benefit because, for instance, I'm going to London next week or the next again. I can't remember when, and I've made a reel already of one of my outfits because I put it together in my head, and I can't be bothered trying it on, so I do a reel. And I go, yeah, I want to wear that, or I go, yeah, I'll wear that, but I'll change that. So I do use real set, but yeah, I have had many, and one of the ones that really sticks in my mind is way back at the beginning of Instagram, which I think I've been on for about 6 years, when it was pictures, and I'd just seen somebody with over knee boots, and I fancied a pair of over knee boots, never had them. So I went, I think I bought these ones were Zara, but I loved the colour. The minute I saw them, I loved the colour. Now these are not over knee boots, but I love the colour. Still got them. They're gorgeous. They were over knee boots. And it's on my grid. I went back to have a look and I went, oh dear. Over knee boots and me in skinny jeans. I look as if I'm going to fall down the plug hole. I am way too skinny. Absolutely. I wore them with that, and then I had them on all black, skinny jeans and a black t-shirt with the yellowy, because I'm not so much a matchy now, but years ago I used to love matching everything. So I had the mustard in the t-shirt. I looked terrible. Absolutely. When I look back on it, I don't. But do you know, at the time I was working full time, and the picture had to do. It was going on the grid anyway, so I just, because I'm not curated at all, I just go, oh, I'm not changing that. It's going. So, but what I did, I loved the boots so much. So luckily, they had a zip, like the side zip. So my husband cut them and cut them down to knee length, and he clamped them for a few days, and they've had loads of wear ever since.
Perfect. Again,
absolute. They're uber comfortable as well to wear, and yeah, they've been on my grid quite a lot as well in the past 6 years. So yes, the over knee boots and me. I do have a black pair of Air and Grace over knee boot, but they're really flat. They're like biker boots, but they're great. I love them, but I tend to wear them with skirts and things. You're not going to see me, and there is just some things that skinny folk don't get away with, unfortunately. Or me, I don't get away with it, and that's one of them.
But I love that you didn't go, oh, these aren't for me, I'm just going to get rid of them. You're like, no, I love the colour of this. Let's make them work.
Absolutely. Oh, I was gutted. When I actually posted the picture. Then I must have gone off to work and then looked at it. Oh no, that is not a good look, Morag. That is just not a good look.
So, other than those after the customization, what are your actual favourite shoes?
Right. So, well, I can't really distinguish between trainers and shoes changing because I
Yes,
love them all. I've got loads and loads of trainers. So I'll say I'll kind
we
of
can
pick two because
absolutely,
I've
the
got
more the
trainers
merrier.
and shoes. Right. So trainers wise, I do have an immense amount of trainers, everything from I've got a really nice pair of colourful Gucci, Adidas collab ones, right through. But my absolute ultimate favourite trainer is Erin Grace. I've walked miles in them. And by the way, I am gifted sometimes by Erin Grace, but I've bought a lot and I don't
Yeah.
work with them as in paid work. So it does come, I'm not here to sell you it. Anyway, these ones, I bought these years ago and they're getting a bit tatty now because I've worn
I
them
was just
so
going to say
much.
they're
I had them
pristine.
yesterday.
They look pristine.
Yeah, oh, they are a bit tatty, but yeah, these were only they haven't made them again. They should make them again. The amount of compliments I get, I think they were called Cosmic. They're so comfortable and so colourful as well. They've got so many colours that you can pick up in outfits that I absolutely love them. And I'm a big advocate for Erin Grace because I do a lot of walking on holidays. I do a lot of walking anyway, and I've got to include Erin Grace. Well, I've got to walk about in Erin Grace because they don't, you can put them in from the box and they're uber comfortable. But my ultimate favourite pair of shoes, which I bought for my second son's, well, he's my oldest son, but he got married secondly, for his wedding. And these are absolutely
Oh, I die. They are
these
so good. The colour's amazing. The,
they
the
are
gold
they
on
are
them, just stunning.
unfortunately they're quite
Oh, you
uncomfortable.
see, this is my life. This is my life.
Well,
I have so many gorgeous shoes that are murderous.
yeah, I I think it's maybe because I'm getting older, I'm not tolerant enough. I probably could have if I was 10 years younger and put up with it, but everything's got to be gloves on my feet now. And I can't go past Daniel footwear shoes because they're a bit like Erin Grace in shoes. You put them on your feet and you never know that they're new, if you know what I mean. But these I could probably go a couple of
A
hours
good
in.
dinner
But
shoe, a great shoe for dinner because then you can sit down, you're
yeah,
not running around in
yeah,
them. But they're
yeah,
so great. I
yeah.
love those.
Yeah, they are really really nice, and they're
They're
mulberry.
brilliant.
So
Really love the colour of
yeah,
those.
so there's my favourite. It was hard to choose the shoes because I've got so
I dread the day that I answer these questions. At some point, I have said
many.
that I will answer the questions because people always ask, when are you going to answer the questions? And I've said that at some point I will, maybe for a birthday episode, maybe for the 100th episode, something like that. But this is the question that strikes the fear into me, is answering what are my favourite shoes. I don't think I
Yeah,
can.
I do. Yeah, I do. I do cull my clothes and shoes occasionally. I used to have this policy, but I think I might have gone over now with it that I never bought coat hangers. And when I ran out of coat hangers, well, I've got masses of coat hangers, but I would never buy any more. And when I ran out of coat hangers, I had to start doing eBay or vintage. But
That's such a good
doesn't
idea,
work like
though.
that.
I've never thought of that. You see, I'm terrible
Yeah,
because of obviously my styling kit. I have hundreds of coat hangers. So if
yeah,
I run out of coat hangers in my
yeah,
wardrobe, I just go get another stack from my styling kit. It's terrible. Oh my gosh. But that is such a good idea. I really like that.
yeah. And I mean, as an influencer, you're gifted so much, but I do try and as much as possible to try and return, because particularly to small brands that I work with that pay me to work with them, I send the stuff back to them just to keep their costs down. Because whilst I love everything I put on my grid, I physically
Yeah.
haven't got enough days to wear them, and it just becomes a bit
Yeah, just a bit
ridiculous,
excessive,
really.
doesn't it? But it's nice to be
Yeah,
able to
yeah.
still
So I
share those
tend,
pieces that you love with people, especially when they are kind of
yeah,
smaller independent
yeah.
brands.
Yeah, absolutely. And before, when it was pictures, you were just doing a couple of pieces, but with reels, you can get 8, 10 pieces in a reel. And I just don't have the
No.
capacity to. And it's terrible because when I'm bundling it back up, I go, oh, I could really wear that. But No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to.
Now, is there a piece that you're lusting after? Something that if the universe would give you it, irrespective of cost or practicality, it just got dropped into your lap, what would you have?
I know that sounds terrible, but I don't lust after clothes. I it sounds funny, but I mean, I've reached an age in my life and I'm retired and all that, that basically what I like, I can really buy. But I'm not a wasteful person, if you know what I mean. I could, I, and I'm not. I've never ever really. I mean, like I lust after a Chanel handbag, but I do not lust after their clothes or spending that amount of money on a piece of clothing. I mean, I know my Loewe jacket is expensive, and it is expensive, but equally, I stopped myself buying the cheaper end of the end as well because I don't need it. I don't need it. So there is nothing really that, unless I have this sudden outfit idea that I need, like say a red blouse or something like that. Then I start researching red blouse and I look at something and then I think, oh, I just can't justify that, because I'll not get the wares out of it. So I'm always looking to see if I'm going to pay a high cost for something, if I'm going to get the wear out
I
of it.
think it's just so refreshing to speak to somebody who is such a successful influencer who has this whole ethos of fashion. It's not about overconsumption. It's not about needing everything. It's about buying pre-loved, researching your pieces.
Mhm.
It's so great to hear you talk this way because I think so often influencers get a really bad name that they're just kind of constantly promoting this idea of overconsumption.
Yeah,
You're very much like,
yeah,
no, I buy the things that I need, and if I don't need it, then it's okay for me not to have it.
yeah. That's just the way I've always I've always, there's certain things I would strive for, but when I was younger, but now when you get a bit older, you get quite content with your lot, and I'm very content with my style. And I know certain things that I like and certain things I don't like. So
I
yeah.
also think with that kind of turnover of your wardrobe, you don't get the opportunity to wear the pieces that you have that you love. I don't have
Oh,
enough days in the week as it is to wear all of the great outfits that I have that I want to wear.
absolutely, absolutely, and that's why I am very cautious now of. I mean, actually, that Loewe jacket is a typical example. Is I really really wanted that, and to be honest, I haven't given it justice yet because I just haven't had, because it's plain. I just haven't had the opportunity to wear it as much as I would want to. But when I took it, I'm going to wear it.
And to finish on, do you have a piece of fashion advice that you would have given to your younger self?
There's another no, because I do believe that when you're younger, you learn by your mistakes, and your mistakes make you grow in your style. Um, I was never really one to rush out to the high street shops because it was trendy, or I was always, well, if I thought that that suited me, and I would buy it. So I've never really been that way inclined that I need to tell myself something. The only thing that I think I would tell myself now is when I was having my children was to get out of leggings and a jumper. But actually, who got me out of that, this is a bit of a funny story, is my own husband. Because I was about the 30 mark when I had both my children, and I was going back to university as well. And he looked at me one day, and not in a callous way, don't get that wrong, but he always, I'll tell you what he said afterwards. He said, "You're looking a bit frumpy," because I'd gone really like my own style, and then I'd gone to leggings and a Marks and Spencer's plain cardigan in every colour. I had it in green, navy, black, and they were long, they covered my bum, you know, and that's what I wore. And he turned out, and then I turned around to it, big mistake. Maybe that is something that I would have told myself, is try and listen to other people when they give you not just a compliment, but if they don't give you a compliment, just try and listen
But
to
also,
that.
I think it's about listening to the right people, isn't it? It's about the people in your life that
Yeah,
actually know you and care about you, because he could
yeah,
see that
yeah,
that wasn't you, that wasn't your style, that wasn't making you happy. And
yeah,
that actually,
yeah,
maybe by saying that and saying the particular word of frumpy, which I think is a dreaded word,
yeah.
if you ever get called frumpy, you're like, gee,
Oh, it
that's
was to
just
me. I was
cutting. And I
well,
think
sometimes.
so. Go,
Sorry,
go.
got him. No, sometimes you just need it told to you, and you don't realize that you're doing something because it's just easy to do, isn't it? And that was an easy style for me to do, and it was comfy, and I thought, yeah. And when I look back on it, yeah, I was very frumpy.
Same though. I think in that period of your life when you've had children and it is suddenly all about like just surviving the day, it's so easy to slip into that
I,
trap of just going, oh, I'm just going to throw on these leggings and this jumper or this cardigan and it's
I
just
know.
going to be fine.
I
Whereas
know.
actually, if we got dressed properly, we might feel a bit better about ourselves.
And you're right. In my day, I mean, we're going back 30 years. So my son's 31 and the other one's there, just coming up 30. Um, you know, I just lived in a
Yes.
haze for the first 2 years. But I don't know. I look at Instagram nowadays and you see these people with perfectly lovely environments and all this and babies. And I went, I wouldn't have had time to even look at my phone.
No, this is it. It blows my mind when you see people, and this idea that you should instantly bounce back to your pre-baby body.
Oh,
Mine took quite some doing. It was quite a while before I was back in the old clothes. I hung on to those
yeah.
maternity jeans a long time after I'd given birth because they were very comfortable.
I know.
Oh, well, it's been
Oh
an
dear.
absolute delight looking through your wardrobe and hearing all of your stories. Thank you so much for being a guest on Off the Hanger.
Oh, I've really enjoyed it. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please remember to recommend Off the Hanger to a friend.